Welcome everybody to another World of Tanks replay. My name is Maxwell and this one is from the user Subman. And he's driving the AMX 50B on a standard battle on the airfield. AMX 50B is quite obviously a tier 10 heavy tank for the French. So you may notice we're going to be on, well, you won't notice now, but you may notice later in the week that we're on kind of a French kick this week. There's going to be a few replays this week and possibly next, all from French tanks from various different lines. It just so happened that the replays that we got sent this past week were, well, they just contained some very, very good French tank replays. So we're going to go ahead and try and show all of those, not for any particular reason other than the fact that they are great replays. They just all happen to be from French tanks. So on to the replay at hand. Subman straight away was headed to the south of the map. One of the strengths that can also be a weakness for this tank is because it is so quick and maneuverable, it gets into position before a lot of other heavy tanks, and then tends to be kinda either left high and dry without any support, or gets there before there's any targets to shoot at. So you can see Subman already relocated to the middle and try and get an eye on that northern area. It's not normally a good idea to go to that northern area with an auto-loader, just it can be quite difficult to unload all of your damage quickly enough in those tight corners and tight spaces. But from this angle here, able to do a lot more work. As you can see, gets almost 1200 points of damage onto that IS-7 before backing off and allowing his gun to reload. As you can see, a T110E5 has been spotted in the south now. So Subman going to use the time that his gun takes to reload to move in and go and assist this IS-7. There's an IS-7 moving into position, remember that, as Subman does. He's going to head on over there. He's got the support in the back. Going to try and spot out this T110E5. You can see he gets eyes on him here. Starts to come over the top. Going to try and get a hit on him, but he starts to fall down the hill. Luckily, doesn't get any damage from the T110E5. Now he's going to pop out and try and get as much damage as he can. That one just about bounces. That was a little bit of an unlucky bounce. You see the hull is angled on that right and left hand side, but it's a little bit thinner here. Does take some damage from this T110E5, and luckily that IS-7 moves up as soon as he is out of shots. If that IS-7 hadn't been there, there's absolutely no way that Subman would have been able to do that and get away with it without taking at least 2 or 3 more hits from the enemy team. But knowing that he's got that IS-7 behind him means that he can unload his clip and then fall back to the relative safety of these rocks whilst reloading. Finds a T54E1 in the back. Gets a good hit on him. I'm not sure if Subman's even spotted here, and doesn't even need the last shot. That one takes out the ammo rack for an easy kill. And use his last shell in the container on this AT-15. Does take some damage in return. AT-15 is very well armoured, but he was able to pick out the weak spot. I think this gun has about 257mm of penetration. There's an IS-3 on his right hand side. Got to be aware of what's going on here. There's WZ trying to keep himself alive. Subman just posturing as if his gun is reloaded, even though we know it's not. Actually very luckily bounces a shot from that IS-3 there before reversing out. Can he get the track of the IS-3? He can. IS-3 switches his attention to the WZ, which may be a mistake as he gets taken out for kill number 2. And he's got one more shot in the chamber again. Going to use that once more on the AT-15. Unfortunately not quite able to penetrate there. Although the AT-15 is only tier 8, this AT series has ridiculously strong armor, and I'm pretty sure if we can take a look at the penetration of this, yes, 257mm, but even against that tier 8 tank destroyer, you can't just fire without really aiming at a weak spot, as that one isn't going to tend to go through. As we saw, the AT-15 survived. Does see an E75 in the background here. I'm going to think maybe he can get some hits onto him. First one misses. Can he get something with the second? That one just bounces. Perhaps the third can do some damage. Aims a little bit longer. That one misses as well. Last shot to do anything, and that one bounces as well. E75 is a very, very difficult tank to penetrate, especially at range like that when you can only see the top right-hand quarter of the turret. I was not surprised that none of those shots went through. When he didn't really have any other targets to fire at, so why not just have those shots? Going to move into the centre now. This is an STA-1 who's wreaking a little bit of havoc against the light tanks of the Allied team. His gun is reloaded. Luckily, the 50B doesn't have a very long reload compared to its counterpart at Tier 9. The 50-120 STA-1 backs off. He gets a fantastic tracking shot to take out his track before taking him out for the kill. And that's going to be an autoloader's bread and butter, really. Oh, takes a hit from the side there. Probably from that E75. Well, like I was saying, tracking shots are going to be an autoloader's bread and butter. If you can take someone's track out with the first shot, it's going to leave them out and stranded if they don't have a repair kit. And that's going to allow you to consistently put your entire clip's worth of damage onto them. Because what tends to happen when you're an autoloader, you'll hit somebody, if you don't take their track out, they'll back away into cover relatively quickly. And you're only going to be able to get 1, possibly 2 hits on them. But if you can consistently hit them in the drive wheel of their tracks and go through the frontal armor of the tank, you're going to have a great time putting consistent damage onto them. Coming up to help their T110E5, the enemy tank has switched back to his original target, which possibly could be a mistake, and it definitely is because he bounces. Probably should have stayed focused on the AMX 50B. If he'd gotten a decent roll, he could have almost certainly taken him out. Only a low roll would have saved the 50B's life there. And I guess he saw the kill of just 71 damage on the T110E5. Saw that light up in his eyes, but it was not to be. There we go, the Allied T110E5 doing a fantastic job of staying alive. Subman is going to use his speed to try and flank around the rear of this E5 before his falls. You can't really take on one of these guys from the front when they are loaded, especially when you're a one-shot. But his health is getting stripped away, and the Allied E5 is still alive. Couple more seconds and Subman should be able to get around this corner. Tries to take out his wheel, but not quite able to. The second shot finds its target as well. Takes him out for a well-deserved kill, number 6. And I'm amazed that the Allied T110E5 stayed alive there with just his 71 hit points. That is a testament to his skill and his armor. So awesome game played there by Subman, picking himself up 8,000 points of damage, 6 kills, a well-deserved Top Gun medal, probably a high caliber, certainly something else as well, and really helping his team to victory using smart reloads, smart relocations during his reloads, and really being in the right place almost always at the right time. So awesome replay from you, Subman. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, if you guys have got a great replay, send that into replay@screenreality.com. Link for that in the description. I've been Maxwell. This has been a Wall of Tanks replay, and I will catch you guys next time.